You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything with the urban sports scene on Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. Your hosts are Ray, Mo, and myself, Wole. What's going on, fellas? The Washington football team fell in their wild card game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 31-23. Uh, Tough game, but let's get right into it. I'm gonna start with Mo. Your thoughts on the game?
I got one half of my prediction right. I said 30. I said 30 points and it's gonna win by 10. They got 31 and won by 8. So I was pretty close. But the game turned out how I expected in terms of the final count, the loss. Mm-hmm. But the way that the Washington football team played was admirable. With all the odds against them. Heineke coming in, the late scratch of Alex, but like Ray been saying, I think Ron kept that information tucked strategically so he can employ this Heineke out on him, and he came out there, and he was out there wheeling and dealing, man, extending drives, big runs. That touchdown was amazing. That touchdown was cold from the 4-yard line. Took off him with a little and mustard at the end. But it was a good game.
Ray, your thoughts?
Obviously, the game did not go as we expected in terms of how it played out. You know, we all thought it would be a close game. Well, I don't know about Mo. Mo was describing Tampa as they was going to blow them out. But, you know, it's a whole nother subject. But, I got to give credit where it's due because you did predict they would score 30 points. I thought they would score around 30. I called it a one-score game. Obviously, Heineke overperformed. Ron, you're listening, brother, because I told you you're going to have to play him if you want a chance. And they had a chance. The defense did enough to keep you in the game, which was dope. However, there's a difference between a great defense and a great young defense. And this is a great young defense. And it showed tonight because they made some mistakes. The middle of the field, we talked about that ad nauseum last week. Cameron Braid and Gronkowski, and we saw that was an issue for Washington football. So some things to clean up in the offseason. I do not think that Heineke is the guy going forward, though. I'm sorry to burst the bubble of all you Twitter folks, including my man Wole. He had one game. You get some if you win this game, guaranteed that the tape just from this game would have helped the opponent for next week. So he caught Tampa off guard today, but I don't think he's the guy. I think he needs to be on the roster. He earned a chance to compete in the offseason. But you still need the quarterback, and you need receivers going for it. You have to get receivers because minus the drops, this might be a closer game. And that all onside kick, was that what that was?
Like, I don't know what that was,
told you, no trick plays, and it wasn't Scott Turner. It was a onside. A few plays here and there, and it might be a different outcome. That's the funny part. A couple drops and an onside kick.
I don't even know.
Madden like.
You got the wrong one on that. I don't even know. I'm trying to still figure out why would you do that in that situation when you playing against Tom Brady, man. You ain't playing against a garbage quarterback. You playing against Tom. You're trying to play a perfect game because you don't have weapons enough. So why would you do that type of play? But back to Heineke. I had thoughts about Heineke. I didn't think that he was going to be anything special going into that game. But I like in terms of sports, I like somebody who competes. Ray, you know this. You would think the same way. Somebody who competes, and he competed. And he played with heart. So to me, regardless of what you may think about, is he the answer? He deserves an opportunity to find out if he's the answer or not. Like going into, I'm not saying he is the guy after 2 games, but going into camp next season, he deserves an opportunity to compete for that chance because you're going against a Tampa Bay team that's going to bring pressure. They're blitzing you. They bring all types of diversity towards you. You're playing against Tom Brady. You know you have to score. You know you have to look effective. And he did that. You know what I mean? Like he looked effective. You had receivers dropping footballs, and he still came out and still tried to give those dudes an opportunity to make plays. We've seen other quarterbacks on this team have to deal with the same situation, and they didn't go the right way. This dude kept pushing and trucking, and with no running game. Those are things, the elements to me where I look at this dude and say, forget the name, the back of the name on the back of the jersey. In terms of it's not a Brady, it's not a Peyton Manning. If you looked in that game, if you just scratched that name off, you would think that dude played at a very, very high level.
Again, it's one game, one performance. I agree with you. He showed heart, especially coming back from injury. So got to show him love for this game. Definitely. I agree that he's earned an opportunity. The Jeff Garcia analogy, I do like that. I will say. And one other, Jeff Garcia, I was seeing that on Twitter.
Okay.
And one other aspect I wanted to point out is the refs were not on Washington's side tonight. I mean, the amount of holes that Tampa's O-line got away with, it was criminal.
I mean, go ahead, Mo.
No, you got it.
No, you got it, Mo. Once you no, Mo, you got it.
What's the question, man?
No, I mean to the game. Like, all right, so the defense. Let's talk about the defense, man. Because I came in and said that the defense was going to hold down Brady. They didn't. I mean, they did a decent job, but they didn't hold him down.
They did enough.
They did enough. It's 31 points. It's still 30. It's 31 points.
I told you. I told you that, man. Like
I said they was going to score 23. I said the Skins would score. I said the Skins. I said the Washington football team would score 23 points. We're both right, bro. You said 31. I said 23. But go ahead, Mo.
Listen, man. So he's going to score 30. Tom came out that first half, scored on every possession except for one, 3 and out. Bam, 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 down the field, running with Fournette. Fournette had a sneaky 90 yards tonight. A sneaky 90 yards, very, very impactful 90 yards that, kept them ahead of the chains a lot of the time, especially early on. I believe they only scored 13 points in the second half.
Who? 13 in the second half. Only scored 13.
In the second half. And 18 with the possibility of another one, and the point after that he missed.
Yeah.
So potentially 27 at the half. So I was almost at my prediction at halftime.
We can say if Sims doesn't drop that pass, Washington scores more. So absolutely. We can do that too.
I understand you. I was just talking about it was a great game, man. I'm just leaving it at that. It was a great game. Because of all the issues coming into the week, I figured that that's too much to overcome for a team like this, right? We're not talking about a team that's traditionally in the playoffs the way that a normal team would be. This is coming in with a losing record. This is coming in a questionable game at the end of the year in week 17 versus Philly. This is coming in with your quarterback being hurt. This is coming in with a guy that you signed 2.5 weeks ago. So these are too many insurmountable things for a team like Washington right now in its first year under Rivera to overcome and be confident that they can overcome it. So the fact that Tom came out that way and then, they buckled down a little bit in the third quarter and Heineke made a big play and it made the game exciting and interesting towards the end, man. I wish he didn't take that sack on one of those downs. If he didn't take that sack, I think that puts it ahead of the sticks a little bit and something more manageable. See if he could have extended the opportunity to go score.
Let's talk about some of the I guess the missed opportunities. What are some of the missed opportunities Washington had in this game to kind of either change the output, change the outcome, or change momentum in this game? What were some of the opportunities they missed out? I'll start with you, Ray.
Well, obviously, again, we put on the drop passes. Cam Sims drops a big pass early on, and that hurt you because you hold the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to field goals, which is perfect. They also missed an extra point. So just like we saw toward the end, you were in the game, you had opportunities, and just the slightest plays make the biggest difference. I think the drops were the biggest. I guess that was the most glaring, but also the linebacker play. We're going to talk about it ad nauseum again tonight because the middle of the field was open too often. And shockingly, this front four, Tom Brady, he had more time than what we anticipated coming in. Chase Young, they game plan well for him. I'll say that. I'm not going to put it on him. He had a great season. If we're going to give Taylor Heineke credit on one game, you got to show love to Chase Young. Even though we seeing some people like my man Tony Living out there hating like he ain't doing nothing tonight.
Oh, yeah, Sweat. Oh, my God, bro.
He said it about Chase Young as well.
Yeah.
Again, you are game planning for the strength of your team and not getting enough consistent pressure. It hurt you tonight. That was the biggest difference outside of the drops.
Mo, what were some of the opportunities that Washington missed out on that they could have seized on?
Oh, definitely that Cam Sims first drive. That's a big play right there. 30, 40 yards right there. That's a momentum starter. That you go down there, you match them with a field goal. It's a little bit more interesting, isn't it? You know what I mean? So then you talk about other Sims dropped a second down joint, and then
you had a
flag,
and right too.
Came back and caught one after that, but you would have been ahead of the sticks there. That third down different. Keep that drive going. Keep that drive alive. The what's another opportunity?
The Logan Thomas overthrow.
That was on him. That was on that was on him.
Overthrow. I mean, but you expect those kind of throws from a guy thrusting in positions right now. You know, and then there was a little bit of fire behind him today. It was a little bit, they brought the house at him a couple of times, right up the middle, right? Stunts and all of that. And that's what allowed for some big plays down the field for the football team offense, because I think the O-line did pretty decent with it at times, and he gave him enough time to make some big plays. He made some moxie throws, man. He made some. Yeah, so he came in and he definitely did more than what Alex would have did. It was risk that he took that Alex would have never took.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though we me and you stamped the Alex train. If Alex plays, is a dub.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So he definitely stepped up and played a different brand of football that's very, very much more exciting and and more multiple than what he can do.
Going back to defensive pressure, a lot of they missed Brady by such a small margin. Yeah. There was one throw in the second half to Mike Evans where I believe it was Chase Young was
Chase was close. He was close.
Right on him. And if you get that sack, then Tampa has the punt, but instead they're moving the sticks.
It's a lot. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, big play though.
I mean, they did a lot. They kind of, they would move the pocket away from Chase at times. They did a lot of smart things to make sure that Chase wasn't able to get to him. But I had issues more where I know people are going to probably some folks are going to hate on me for saying this. There are a lot of times where, again, your team is booked on having, and this is when Chase was healthy. Chase got injured towards the end of the game, but this is when Chase was healthy. You have Chase, and you have Montez Sweat. These are your two dogs. And important downs, you want your dogs on the field. And I know, people get sentimental with Ryan Kerrigan. He's done a lot for this organization, being a leading sack dude in the organization and whatnot. But when it's third down and you need to stop, you know what I mean? You need to get pressure on the quarterback. You got to have your two best players on the field. You got to, because we've seen what Montez has done even in that Pittsburgh game when he batted the ball up and they got picks. He made big plays against the Cowboys as well. The dude has made big plays for you. He's one of your dogs. And when you in any sport, when you need when the game is tight on a key drive or a key situation in the game, you want your dogs out there. You don't want the reserved out there. You want your dogs. If he's fresh and he's healthy, you want him out there. And I have issues where I saw it was 3rd and 10. They get the first down, but they get the first down on this play, but Ryan Kerrigan's in there and he's not really getting pressure. Montez Sweat is sitting on the bench. I'm like, come on now. This is an important situation. You get this stop, you got an opportunity. I want to say they get an opportunity to get the ball and take the lead or get an opportunity to gain more momentum. But you have Montez sitting on the bench. You know what else I don't like? You get a sack. Deron Pay gets a sack. You have them at 3rd and 17 or 3rd and 18. And instead of playing aggressively, they just settle. Okay, we can at least let them get a field goal. Yeah, they did not play that third down right. Again, that's a game changer right there, because if you stop them, let's say you hold them to 4 yards or get any yards at all, they're out of field goal range. Brady with that throw got them back in field goal range, and right there the game was over. If you don't score a touchdown on the next possession, I mean, either way, you would have had to score a touchdown, but still. But you don't have to worry about two. You don't have to worry about two. You get a touchdown, you win again. That's a lot of stress. You know what I mean? Again, if you were in a situation where you know that you get a touchdown and that's it, you're not game planning for the next play. You're already thinking a different way. So it's a lot. I mean, there was a lot involved in how you game plan, what you do in that game. I'm with you though, Ray. I thought that too. It was 3rd and 18 or 15. I know, it's Brady, because it's the fear of Brady. That's what it was. It's the fear of Brady thinking that, all right, we play aggressive, Brady's going to pick us apart and he's going to get a key first down. Yeah, money don't make money. This is why Tampa did not beat many good teams this year, because people went at them, because they know that Tom he's towards the end, obviously. I mean, it's no secret. Although he looked good tonight, but as I said, the pressure was not there as we thought it was going to be. It's crazy how the defense really, if the defense played as they've been playing during the hot streak, and this offense that we saw tonight plays the way they play, Washington wins easily. But
Ray, man,
your defense wasn't there.
Ray,
go Mo, G. Go Mo.
Too much, Ray. You give him too much, Ray. You were so bent on this defense. This defense, which we all knew. But we also, like I told y'all, this is a deep wide receiver core, right? Mm-hmm. Veteran wide receiving core. We talk about Mike in his 7 straight years. Chris Godwin's real good. AB's your third receiver. You go to the tight ends. Scotty Miller.
Here we go. He started naming everybody.
We talked about this, right? The same way y'all was naming off the D line. Yeah. They didn't get pressure tonight because Tom mitigated the pressure a lot. Tom gets that ball in and out. He don't waste no time. If there's
tonight he didn't know he held the ball.
He was wasting. That's what I would say. Tom wasn't.
Just because he throws the ball deep, he doesn't mean he holds it long. They had good pockets because y'all were rushing up the field, man.
I'm gonna say this though. Like they didn't put the offensive line for Tampa. They balled out. I'm gonna just be real. They balled out. And
Deron Payne went crazy tonight because Deron Payne was getting held a lot, and he still had 2 sacks and some countless other pressures.
Yeah,
because they were running up the field. And the only time you guys were successful was when that Alabama wall was coming up too.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
And then you can't do nothing with Deron Payne once he gets that one arm bar out on you like this, man. He's a bully. I'm telling you, man. Like so.
Brad, you see what Brad Smith said? Why no inside pressure? It's the key to turning Brady into nothing. You miss Ioannidis in the game. That's why I said, man, Washington's gonna be scary. I don't care what Mo talking about. Mo is a low key, not even low key. You just don't admit that you hate on the squad, and I understand why. I recognize when somebody can ball. You know what I'm saying?
Ray, you guys were telling me that this team had a chance to win when the odds that were stacked against them was having a quarterback that already wasn't supposed to be a starting quarterback, be a starting quarterback to this point. He can't even rehab properly because of the severity of his injuries from before. Right? You're talking about all the stuff that y'all was going through at the time, and you're talking about playing a game for the division, a weak division where everybody was under 500 and nobody was going to be over 500, and then having a controversy in that game because the coach decided that he didn't want to be competitive again. Those are not things that you want to be confident in when it comes to a team going into the playoffs with the worst record in the whole party on both sides. So, like, nobody would be confident in a team like that. So when you were talking about all the good that they could do, you were exuding this confidence in this team as if they had proved something, and they hadn't proved anything because everything about them, all the variables were a question mark behind them. Who's going to be the quarterback? Like all of this.
You keep going back to the quarterback. I was saying that the front four is the main aspect of this team that makes it succeed, that drives this team. And that's all I was talking about. Everybody with 2 eyes can see this front four is awesome. And as my man Daniel said, Jack Del Rio was ill-prepared. That's another topic we need to discuss because the defense seemed like they weren't ready for Tom. And John Cotton tweeted out a glaring stat. Jack Del Rio coming to this game 1-9 against Tom Brady, now 1-10. He fears the GOAT.
Last show about Jack Del Rio not being that good of a defensive coordinator.
I'm
trying to hear it. I told you that
last good.
Show, Ole.
Huh?
I said it last show, and you went defending him, and I said,
I am defending him. I think he's a good defensive coordinator.
What happened after he left Denver?
No, again, there's stints where he was good at. When he was with the Raiders, when he was a coach, he was a coach though, with the Raiders. He was good. They were decent. He's been a good defensive coordinator. Even with Seattle, he's under that team with Carroll under his staff. He's been good, man. He's been good.
But your argument was whack. You talking about because he got fired. Todd Bowles, you was hyping him. He's been fired. Many good coaches get fired. It happened.
He got the Raiders. Todd Bowles got the Jets.
All right, man. Let's go back to Washington. Let's go back to Washington, man. We're in Washington. All right, we're not gonna talk about coaches' careers and what they've done. We're going back to this game. It's the post-game show. All right, it's the post-game show. All right, let's go back to this game.
Okay,
y'all good. But now I'm trying to get back to my train of thinking. Okay, so yeah, but back to what Ray said and what Daniel said. Do you think that this defense was ill prepared? Like I felt like. For me, I think, and Mo, you talked about it with the Bama wall. If you see that the way you get pressure on Brady is up the middle. I saw a lot of delayed blitzes where I think that's ridiculous to do on Brady, a delayed blitz. or not doing some of the business that we used to see what Ron Rivera did in Carolina, where he used to, and Ray, you've seen it too, with being a Falcons fan, where Rivera would have his linebackers blitz right up the gut. Again, pressure up the middle against Tom Brady, where we've seen for years that's given Tom Brady issues. We rarely saw that in this game.
You don't have any linebackers that can get to the quarterback. Not one.
No. Oh, you see that boy Holcomb. Holcomb can get to the back. But go ahead.
I think Boston can too, but your linebackers is clearly not your strength. But
yeah,
Boston
exactly.
Boston is good enough. Boston actually made some good plays tonight, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Boston. I think Holcomb has the speed to Holcomb has the speed to blow things up and get there. We've seen that in the regular season.
I haven't seen Boston have a tackle for a loss yet.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yet. A tackle for a loss?
I have.
No.
I have. I ain't gonna lie, I have. Beginning the season, I have.
They can make the tackle and they're proceeding up the field.
I can't call the game, but I've seen it.
Can I point out something? Well, let me point out something that was said during the broadcast. I believe it was Mike Tirico who said when he spoke to Tom Brady, or when the team spoke to Tom Brady about how you beat this Washington team, he said, if we can offset their front four does not pressure me, I believe I can beat this secondary. Going in, Tampa believed they had the upper hand against the secondary.
Well, they did though. I mean, they have the upper hand.
Was.
But real talk, they have the upper hand against most secondaries. When you have, I think Mo already broke down the talent. When you got Godwin, you got AB and Mike Evans, you're going to be better than most secondaries in football. And to be real, if you get time, you should be able to dissect most secondaries in the NFL, because they got three dudes. They got three dudes that could be arguably 1-2s on other teams. And then you got Cameron Brate. We forget because the OJ Howard, Gronk, that for a while was their number one tight end. So they're deep. They're a deep offensive team in terms of skill position. I don't argue that at all. I just thought that they would bring more pressure up the middle, and I didn't think they didn't do enough in terms of scheme. I didn't think they did enough. Go ahead.
It ain't about them not doing enough. Tom Brady got a lot of balls out quick.
Now he can get a lot, but to me, this is the thing. He got some out quick, but he held the ball and went deep. He was like Arians' system. They were waiting for deeper routes to go up. They had time to get to Brady at times. They just didn't. Like forever, they just didn't. I know what you're talking about. There's some of the 5-yard routes that we're used to seeing with Tom Brady. He got out quick, but there were other pass plays where he held the ball just in a Bruce Arians system, where he typically does for every quarterback, to go deep, and they were successful in those plays.
Everybody's gonna have that. You think you guys are gonna get pressure every place?
No, but you got to get pressure on some of the plays. They didn't get enough pressure. That's my point. My point is they didn't get enough pressure.
That's the beauty of Tom Brady orchestrating that offense, though. That's what I'm telling you.
No, the beauty of Tom Brady, to your point, is get the ball out quick. I agree. Look, I think we're both agreeing to a certain extent. I think we're both agreeing to a certain extent.
You're trying to give the credit to the D-line, and you're taking away from the GOAT. And I'm not going to allow you to do that.
No, I'm not taking away credit from the GOAT. I think he did it. He was awesome in delivering the pass.
Good game plan too. Good game plan.
Exactly. It was a good game plan. He delivered the pass, and they were on stride. Definitely. That's credit to the GOAT. That's credit. The point of he holding on to the ball, and the defense had an opportunity to get to him. They just weren't successful getting to him. But he had plays where they waited 7-step drops, had an opportunity to get to him,
big plays
and did not get to him. Huh?
Because they make big plays down the field. Because you can't blitz every play.
No, it wasn't a blitz. I'm not even talking about the blitz aspect. That's what I'm not even talking about. I'm saying your 4 guys. All right, it's a 7-step drop. You got Chase Young, you got Montez Sweat. It's a 7-step drop. This is the opportunity for that front 4 to pin their ears back and go. I'm not even talking about bringing an extra man. It's a 7-step drop. They're looking. Tom Brady's looking for the deep route.
They got Gronk opportunity. They got Gronk chipping on Chase almost every play.
Look, man. Look again.
Running back that way. They showed.
I'm agreeing.
They showed Chase what life is like to be a premier defensive end in the league.
Of course. Man, that goes back to what Ray was talking about. You got to prepare for that.
Last week, I said you can mitigate Chase. I said they did it in the game last year.
Mm-hmm. A good game plan. I'm not going away. I'm not knocking the game plan. The game plan was sweet. What we're talking about, when Ray and what I was talking about for me in my argument was, I think this defense could take it to another level in terms of pass rush. Obviously, when a court, like if you look at the Baltimore Ravens in terms of like, if you're doing a 7-step drop on the Baltimore Ravens, they're getting to you. regardless of the leader, they're getting to you.
Boys are young, man. Your
But that's
boys,
my again. I'm just saying, like when we're looking at this defense, I'm not knocking. It's not a knock. They just gotta be more prepared. They gotta get ready. Look, it's a different level. It's a different animal. You seeing Tom Brady, it's a different animal.
In fairness to the defense, though, Brady made some tough throws. Even when being hit, he still made throws downfield. So Brady was the difference. I mean, that's what my man Dan was pointing out. Brady was the difference tonight. He was the difference. And like we all agree, we knew that coming in. We knew that Brady is Brady. Again, I said the team I root for, I know better than anybody that Brady. And that's the thing. Even if let's say Washington scores and ties the game up 31-31, you still got overtime.
Brady
still going against Brady. So regardless, you have to almost play the perfect game plan. Honestly, the biggest difference, you mentioned Baltimore. Baltimore, to me, does not fear him. Washington,
they don't fear him.
Tonight,
there you go.
And that is key. You got to go in.
You can't fear
Chase was ready for the moment by the way he was saying, I want Tom. I thought they were going to go in like, you know what, we got this. But they respect him, no doubt. And the fans, everybody's celebrating this moral victory, celebrating Heineke. Nobody's even blown tonight. And Mo, that's how you know I'm not a Washington fan, bro. Like, people are happy. Like, you know what? Taylor showed guts. Folks are excited. I'm not excited.
Show some guts, though, man. Real talk, man.
He did, but so what? You lost. You took an L.
Look, man. I'm proud of that dude, man. He played like a soldier, dude.
You can point out bright spots, but Wole, you talked about moral victories when the team wasn't winning. You like, I don't believe in it.
Yeah,
but now you got the bubbly energy. I can tell you've been sweating while you watching the game.
I'm not sweating. I wasn't sweating. I took a shower, man. This that cocoa butter. This is good. But no, man. No, I ain't gonna lie. Right to your point. Yeah, I was excited. I was happy, man. At the end of the game, I was like, you know what? They competed. I'm always about that, man. You already know.
I knew they would.
You know what I'm saying? They competed.
I'm just saying, man, y'all arguing me down for the past 2 weeks to get this result. Like, come on.
What you talking about? Argue about what?
Y'all
what you talking about?
Oh, you're negative. You a hater. No, I'm not negative. I'm not.
You are a hater.
These are haters, right? This is not our podcast stuff.
Well, this is me.
I'm listening. I'm looking at you. I'm listening. I'm looking at you. I'm listening. I'm looking at you.
Football coach.
I'm with you, dog.
Coach, man.
You are?
Yeah, I'm a football coach.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I coached football for like 9 out of my 10 adult years, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I know you said that.
So I don't enjoy games. I criticize games.
Mm-hmm.
Criticize games. Like I look for mistakes. I look for holes. You know what I mean? That's what I look for when I watch the game. The big play is still exciting, yada yada. So that's the lens that I look at things from. So when I'm watching it, I'm like, yo, the adversity is too much. It's stacked against you too much. You have to do things that are unthinkable to win this game. And you're not a team that's ready for that because of your record. Record proving that. You know what I mean? Like you're just not there yet. Like this ain't Cinderella now. Like this is better yet. Like you guys are gonna learn from this, and because of this, you're gonna come back better next year. Not this is the year that we're gonna do something strange. You know, like so. As a coach, I can't be confident about that. I can't give my all to that game plan. I have to give my all to the game plan that I know that is sound, that we studied, we prepared, everybody's cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not, oh man, I don't know who's going to take the snaps at practice. We don't know that Heineke's going to start until what was it, 4:30 p.m. today? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
He'll be like, that's not.
That was intentional. It was intentional.
That was on purpose, though.
Hey, I know, but like those are not odds that are in my favor. If I'm going into a game where we have to do all of that, where we have to withhold information because we feel it's going to give them another benefit, then we're not that good. And I can't be confident to the point where I'm looking at, oh, if this happened, and I'm connecting the stars and aligning the universe. I'm painting a picture. I'm painting the picture. It's not reality. This team wasn't built to win in the playoffs. Not today. And we haven't even got to the people that was on the other side. Then you're playing against the GOAT with 4 weapons all around. And they've been hot for the last 4 weeks.
All right.
I
All right,
got you, bro.
My man Brad said, tell me your thoughts on Washington going forward. Who is your quarterback of the future? Is he on the roster? Do you wanna get a rookie or a vet? Ray, I'm gonna start with you.
I have already shared my thoughts. Brad, I'm gonna say it again. I'm sorry to break the hearts because everybody is on this dude tonight, but you still need a quarterback. You really need receivers as well because I don't
We
care
need
who you line up
receivers
back
more.
there.
You need receivers more.
Um, I
That was
believe that
fair.
Heineken gave himself an opportunity to compete in the offseason with his performance tonight, but I still think you need to look. Deshaun Watson might be on the market. You need to look at a quarterback that you can bring into this franchise and have for years to come. You need some longevity. This quarterback carousel has been going on for over a decade. You need to find the right guy. It needs to be a young guy, and it's not Heineke. I'm sorry. I love the fact that he went out and played hard, but you get
All right.
some film on this dude. I don't believe he's the answer next season.
Well,
However, again, I'll say this: he will compete because Wole's loving him just like everybody else is.
yeah, I just have a question for you. I have a question for you, but I want you to keep going. I have a question for you about that. Why don't you like him? Why what
I
makes
didn't say
him?
I didn't like him. I did not
So
say I didn't.
I mean, my thing, you say he's not the answer. How are you so sure he's not the answer? That's I think that's my question because he came in to the game against the Panthers, played well. He played well in this game too. So he's played well in two different games. So I want to know
Okay,
why
well,
you don't think he's the answer.
largely because he's unproven. You just
Okay,
said,
so
you know,
okay,
Jeff Rutledge played a hell of a game one game, and everybody
not
thought he
one
was
game, but this is two games in high pressure situations, which is totally different. No, I'm being real. There's two
and
high
two
pressure
L's,
situations.
two L's.
Yeah, but exactly. But not his fault though, because
So because
different talent though. I mean, Ray, you be real. You just said that he had other dudes dropping passes, so it's not his fault, right?
come on, brother, listen. You talk about watching film and not trusting the guy. We don't
Yeah,
have much on this dude. He played
facts. I
two
agree.
games.
I
For two
agree.
games, you're gonna say, "Oh, we need to bring him back and see what we got," because he
Yeah,
showed
exactly.
that maybe he could be a player in this league. But
Yeah,
there's a reason why he wasn't in the league before now. I believe that. You know what I mean? He made the most
yeah.
of his opportunity. You got to give the young man credit for that. But to say Taylor Heineke is the guy for the future, no,
No,
I just don't see it. In two games, I don't see it. And again, both of them were L's. Whether you say it's his fault or not, we talk about Tom Brady on the other side. That man will his team to
all right.
win. He's the GOAT, Brandon. But
I'm
many
gonna make an argument
quarterbacks
to
who
that
are
point.
great do that.
I'm gonna argue that point. I'm gonna argue that point today. I'm gonna argue that point. The first game he came in the game against Carolina. How much were they down? You saying 2 else? How much were they down? They were down big against Carolina, right? When he came
20
back,
maybe?
yeah, they were down big. So he came back in that game. So
Oh,
you give him an
17,
L.
20 to 3,
Yes.
17.
So he came back in that game. He came back. He got an L, but that's not on him.
In garbage time, though. Well, in
But
garbage
he's the only reason where that game he almost got competitive because of him. I'm disappointed. I'm just saying it's a point.
almost.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but that's not his L. He was there to bring them back. That's what I'm saying. He was there to bring
So
them
you
back.
really can't credit him for that. If you
I'm
can't
not.
credit him
I'm
for the
telling you.
loss,
I'm
you
saying
can't
he
credit him
played
for.
well, but I'm saying he played well. You're saying that the result. I said individually he played well. He did his job. That's what I'm talking about. In a game where he's coming from behind. He did his job. This game here, he played well. He was a loss. It's a loss regardless. So to your point, you are correct. It's a loss, but it's a loss with adverse situations where you have receivers dropping passes left and right. Period. We would say that about a good quarterback. Like, oh man, it ain't his fault. He lost the game. Look, the Phillip Rivers played against the Buffalo Bills. They lost that game because Frank Wright was doing weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're not putting that loss on Phillip. We're not saying that's Phillip's fault they lost that game. You know what I'm
That's Phillip
saying?
Rivers. Phillip Rivers is
But
proven.
it's my point. I'm going about. Take the name off the back of the jersey. Talk about the individual play. Take the name off the back of the jersey. Individual play. I'm just saying if we're grading him, I'm not even saying he's the future. I believe he deserves an opportunity to compete for the job next season. That's my point. Because
Oh yeah, I
everybody, you
agree.
never know what
I
happens.
agree.
But
Because you don't have nothing. You got a
yeah,
man with one leg, and you got
yeah,
Kyle
I
Allen.
know. I'm with you. I'm just saying my argument is
He's
not to say
saying
you
much.
deserve a job. I am not saying that he should be the starter next season. I'm saying that he put himself in a situation where he gets an opportunity to if they don't want to go the veteran route. If they
Thank
don't
you.
want to go the
Hey,
route.
look at the comments. Thank you, Brad.
Mhm.
Longevity, kind of key. That's your long-term answer. No, that was the question given to me. Why isn't he the guy
Mhm.
going forward? Can he compete? Yeah, I can go and compete for the job. So can Mark Sanchez. He was a quarterback here a couple years ago. He started one game for Washington State.
Everybody
It
got to
don't
start
matter.
somewhere though, Ray. You acting like everybody got to start somewhere. Like that's all I'm saying. Everybody got to start somewhere. How do you
Yo,
know? So if he pitched, so my thing is that all right, he's 27. So if he played, Trent Green started somewhere, looked good for 2 games, and he was an older and went for Washington, looked good. I'm using your point. I'm just using an
okay.
argument. Looked good, got an opportunity with the Rams, towards ACL, went to Kansas City, was a good quarterback. He had to
Okay.
start somewhere. A lot of people say that the same way. He had to say he had a similar story. Like he didn't go to a big
Nah,
school.
not it's not the same. But here's the
Uh,
thing.
mhm.
PJ Walker stepped into Carolina and played well. Then
Yeah,
anybody say, oh, he's the answer. No.
yeah,
When their starter, Teddy Bridgewater, got healthy, he got
yeah,
his job back. I mean, bottom line is,
yeah.
brother, this is Washington. That's the only reason Heineke's in the discussion right now
Facts.
because this is
Facts. I
Washington.
agree. But I
Period.
think that I agree with. I'm
You need
agreeing
to
with that.
establish somebody for the future. Aren't you tired of the quarterback carousel? Come on,
All
man.
I care about, dude. All I care about somebody playing the position correctly. That's all I care about. Play the position correctly. So whatever that means. If you're gonna go and bring somebody in next season, then yeah, bring somebody in, a vet. But we're talking about bringing a younger dude in. Then you got to. Then that young dude has to show you something, right? You're saying go draft a young quarterback for the future, right? Is that what you're saying? Draft a young quarterback for the future.
I'm saying that
So,
you need to have a quarterback for years to come. That you can establish a
so
consistent.
yeah, all right, I agree with you. So to Brad's, I think the comment Brad said, then do you draft a quarterback? So would you draft a quarterback or will you sign a vet?
Well, it depends on who's available. Like I told you, I would not have an issue. I'm saying this again based on the glaring weaknesses on this team.
Hmm.
I would not have an issue if you prioritize receivers in the draft because if
I
you look at
agree,
this
bro.
draft, it's receiver heavy.
Oh man, it's
I think
heavy.
the quarterback position is kind of top heavy, but there's some good quarterbacks as we saw with the GOAT tonight. What round did he get picked in? So you might be able to find a quarterback late. However, Ron Rivera, let's look at his track record. Name a good quarterback that he's coached over the years outside of Cam that you can say, you know what, I respect what he's done with quarterbacks. The jury is
Uh,
still out on Scott Turner. So,
mhm.
dude, I'm not saying him draft one, but I mentioned Deshaun Watson. There might be some guys on the market who may
I
be
would
able
love
to
to,
come in
Sean. I don't
and
think he
be a
coming.
guy that's as long term. I'm not saying he is, but I'm
Yeah.
just talking about you looking at somebody of
Oh yeah,
that
definitely.
type of caliber who can play the position and actually can will a team to victory. Again, 2 games is not a good enough sample size. I can think of numerous examples. Trent Green is an okay example. He played more football than Taylor Heineke did.
Oh, in preseason, that's all he did for Washington. That's all initially. That's all he did. All he did was play preseason games, like third quarter game,
What do you
second
want? Do
half.
you want to compete or do you want to win? That's my
Huh?
question to you. Do you want
No,
your
my
team to
question. My
compete
question is to
or
build your
compete?
team. So my thing is like, all right. So there's quarterbacks I think you can bring in. I mean, there's vets. It depends on who are you targeting. If there's a vicious vet that you're trying to target, we're talking Matthew Stafford or folks like that, then definitely I'll go Matthew Stafford. If we're talking the route of saying, hey, bring back Kyle Allen, which I've heard, then I'm cool with Taylor Heineke. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It depends on the degree of who you're talking about. If what's your plan? But to be honest with you, after watching this offense, there's so much they need to add. You need to add players in the skill position. Like it's not just a quarterback. So it depends. Like which player do you value more? Do you value more just getting a quarterback or just getting the best player in a certain offensive position? So what I mean by that is that if there's a wide receiver that you can get that's like that's better rated than a quarterback, you better go get that wide receiver. Like you better go get that wide receiver. Don't get a
I'm
quarterback
okay
just to
with
get a
that.
quarterback.
I'm
Like you know
okay
what I'm
with
saying?
that.
That's my point. Like don't just say you're gonna get a quarterback. If there's a wide receiver that is lights out, you get that wide receiver because that will help. As you've seen, as we saw in this game, that would do Scary Terry and some of these other dudes would do them so much justice if they had a player like that alongside of them. Unless instead of having a wide receiver that A may not get separation, B will drop the football in any situation. So it makes life easy for Scary Terry.
That's true.
Brad Smith has a comment. He said, Glenn, do you feel Heineke is good enough to lead this team to 12 plus wins? Defense is outstanding. A good to very good quarterback will put the team over. I think you need more talent at the QB position. I agree. I
Mm-hmm.
just also feel as though defense sometimes can win you football games. We don't know if this is a great defense yet either. So
Mm-hmm.
the jury is still out on the teams. It's a great young defense right now. And to Mo's point earlier, if they learn from this experience and they benefit and they apply the lessons learned tonight to the off season, then they might be okay. This new regime looks like it's made some good changes. Can you build upon it this
I'm
off
going
season?
and,
Yeah,
and Mo.
my man, Tim. That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad you're here, George.
George, he said
I'm
something.
so glad you're here. George did. He said, do any of
I don't
y'all
see
still
nothing.
think Washington needs just a QB to win? Because that ain't true. Amen, George. Thank you.
Hey Mo, man, what does Washington need on the defensive side of the ball to be dominant, man?
Defensive side of the ball,
Oh,
linebacker.
what to say? He said a great young defense to get first place.
You need an impact linebacker
Yeah.
in the field, somebody that can cover a lot of the things. A lot of damage tonight was done across the field, and with Mike Evans in the slot too. That's the mismatch. Good with Godwin, in the slot. You see, Jimmy Moreland. Jimmy Moreland had a hard time today.
He did though. He did. No one want to talk about that. He did. He did.
Moreland was struggling tonight.
Yes, he was.
They put that pressure on that boy, but that linebacker play will help. You know what I mean? Somebody in the middle. Look at Fred Warner, I think, from San Francisco. You know, he done built his way up and reputable within like 2-3 years of his career. You know, some good young talent out there. Bobby Wagner is a staple. Tampa Bay was missing one today. Devin White, beast. You know what I mean? Somebody like that, impact like that can help get you some coverage sacks, because you know the front four is already impactful, which would have been the type of pressure you was talking about earlier that you would have loved to see on Tom tonight. I mean, but like when your secondary is pressed to, you know, with a certain level of skill in front of them, like Tom gonna get that thing out quick, and it's gonna be effective, and they're gonna piece you up and down the field. So I think a linebacker will help a lot to solidify the middle of that defense. And Landon Collins coming back next year, you guys gonna have you guys gonna have. I mean, the only reason you have to keep him because he's owed a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely.
He's owed a lot of money. He's only played 22 games, so you got to bite that L. I mean, you found a gem in the draft this year in Cam Curl. He came in and replaced Landon and had a season that was to be messed with. You know what I mean? It's up there. So he's all over the field. So y'all got a gem right there, but they play the same position. Now you're gonna run into the usual problem of playing somebody out of position or playing two people back there that's whose best ability is not coverage. It's not like, you know, sideline to sideline coverage. So you run the risk of that. But if you have somebody in the middle that could diagnose the run well and play better in coverage, you might take those chances with those two safeties and put the best players on the field at the same time.
What about there's folks that talking mess about moving Landon Collins next season to linebacker?
I mean, with that, you know, with the new linebacker that the league plays, he's built for it. His All-Pro year when he used to play for Big Blue, he was around the line a lot, doing a lot of damage on tight ends. He was a turnover machine that year. Went up to London and caught that pick six and took it all the way to the crib. Remember that? So it would help. It would definitely help him because he's good in short areas. Like you see how I don't know if anybody was paying attention to Jamal Adams and how he was deployed. Yeah. Right, he plays close to the line of scrimmage. He's basically an extra linebacker. Yeah. He can missile exactly is what he is. That's what let's just call it what it is, because he diagnoses play C, play go, get ball, play over. So Landon can be that kind of impact on that second level of the defense, playing that hybrid position.
Can I respond to George real quick? George asked a lot of questions about Landon Collins, obviously, Logan Thomas. George, first of all, just to answer your earlier question, bro, I call it a great young defense, and young is the key word because they're young. They're going to make mistakes, but also they play with such a bad offense. If anything, you really have to address why you struggled against mobile quarterbacks. You really need to figure that out going into the offseason. But if the offense, the way they play tonight, if they would have played that way just in half of those games you mentioned, this defense would have definitely, I think, put them over the top. Instead, the defense was on the field a lot. So you can't blame it all on the defense because the offense was inept. Look at the quarterback situation throughout the course of the year, man. It's a tough situation. Landon Collins, I would love to see him at linebacker because, again, you struggle with the middle of the field, which he could cover, and against mobile QBs. I think that would be a good move, especially with Cameron Curl. You can't ignore what he did this season. But there are a lot of question marks, as Wole said, in the skill positions. And that's where you want to trust Ron Rivera, who I think at this point, with the way he's handled the quarterback situation, with the way he played to get in the playoffs, earn some respect tonight with the way the team competed, you got to trust him with the decision-making going into the offseason.
See, Ray, if they listen to us and they got Dez Bryant, they would be in a better situation.
Possibly. I just thought you need to give him opportunity because of what you had here. I thought Dez Bryant was pretty good option, but watching Dez in Baltimore, I think his best days were way behind him. Although, again, what do you have? Well, what did you have?
Didn't catch the ball though.
What did you have? I want to remind you too that this is the team that Rivera inherited, so he hasn't really got a chance to put his mark. Now, I will give him some props on the fact that generally he sees what's in the division and he drafts according. Remember his presser, right? I want to say, was it the day after the Philly game? Yeah, it was. It was Monday, and he talked about how he drafted players just for Drew Brees. So trust me, I believe he's going to prepare, and his teams get better every season. Although, of course, in Carolina, he kind of like went through, I want to call it Andy Reid phase, where I feel like his message just wasn't getting across no more. But I want to say Washington fans trust him going into the offseason in terms of what he's going to do to make this team better. And there's nothing that tells me this division is going to be that much more improved next year. So you're going to have an opportunity. You're going to have an opportunity.
So going into like the offseason, because that's what it's all about right now.
Antonio Brown. Ooh, good point.
Antonio Brown. Oh, he said, whoa. Oh yeah. They didn't try to jump on Antonio Brown either. Going to the offseason, the number one concern is getting a quarterback, right? That's the number one concern. Do you draft a quarterback though, for real? Like, would you draft a quarterback? I'm CMO. Would you?
Ron did in his old stomping grounds. I feel like there's a good quarterback there. Yeah, I don't think you go reaching for a quarterback there because you just hamstring yourself for another 5 years. I think the quarterback situation in the last 15 years, your best quarterback was a 4th round pick. So you have better odds in the way you guys, in the way the team has been drafting over the years to get one later or in a 2nd or 3rd round and get an impact player that could start immediately next year. Have the defense or be another weapon for whoever is playing quarterback, and then mold it up because like Haskins failed, RG3 got hurt, Jason Campbell, I believe, before that, right?
Yeah, Jason. Mark Brunell.
I mean, Mark Brunell. You didn't draft Mark Brunell.
You talking about draft quarterbacks? Oh yeah, quarterbacks. Jason. Jason Griffin, Kurt. Yes, and Dwayne.
And Kirk happened to be the best one out of all of them. Like, you guys have been in quarterback purgatory since you let him go. If you would have signed him for that $19 million that first time he was up, you guys could have built some continuity right now. And because
lost some money.
But it would.
You talking about the first time? The first time they should get him over. Okay, the first time definitely. Yeah, okay, the first time.
Y'all was like, we don't know. And
Minnesota paying for it now, like the first time. All right.
I'm glad you brought Kirk. I'm glad you brought Kirk up. He's a good example. He put up numbers, but for whatever reasons,
he don't win.
Why didn't exactly? But that's not on him, though, right? Is that on him? Is it what?
No. It's different. No. No, it is on him because like there's games where he don't show out. Like I'm talking about individual games.
You can't think of Kirk on those teams though. You got to think of Kirk on this team.
Yeah, that Giants game when when y'all say everybody to win goes in the playoffs and he bombed that game. The Carolina game before that he bombed.
If Kirk was on this team,
this current team,
yeah, you guys.
Maybe. Yeah, definitely. Oh, in this division, yeah, they've been in the playoffs.
9-7 this year.
Yeah. On this team, I'm honest. On this team, they should make the playoffs. They should.
Yeah,
there you go.
What contract though? Because he wouldn't be on this team with that type of contract. That's another discussion.
If you'd have signed him franchise that year, then he wouldn't have gone to the guaranteed dollar. Yeah. I mean, he changed the game with that contract.
No, I agree. I think Kurt was on this team with definitely these weapons. Oh yeah, definitely. They would be a better team. You know what I'm saying? Especially with this, this situation. I mean, if Alex Smith was healthy, if they had a healthy Alex Smith, a real Alex Smith, they would be a better team too.
Kirk be having his loafing moments, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Some games, but trust me, I'll be tough.
Yeah, if they had a healthy Alex Smith, they'd be tough too. But they didn't. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of, there's situations that play a certain route, but I mean, I think that they should. I mean, for me, I'll say it. I keep saying it, and I'm like, I'll be the minority with it. I would love for this team to bring in Cam. I would still love for them to bring in Cam. Bring in Cam. I'm gonna say it again, man. Cam was in a situation in New England when he had to work with nothing, and y'all told him to work with absolutely with no defense, no offense, no wide receivers, no tight ends, no running backs, and you wanted him to take the team to the postseason. You bring him here in the NFC East, and you can run the read option with you can still run a certain power read option with Gibson. You can work some things out with Cam. With Scary Terry.
You know how Cam was throwing the ball this year? Goodness gracious.
No
accuracy. Again, to who? Nobody was open, right? You said no accuracy. Who was open?
Bird? Like, forget the accuracy. The accuracy is the pits.
But he was accurate when he had Edelman. This whole term about accuracy, like when you watch the game, like when he had Edelman, he was accurate.
2 games, man.
When Edelman, he was accurate. When he had Edelman on the field, he was accurate. When he didn't have Edelman, he wasn't accurate.
Cam looked bad this year.
I'm telling you, man. You get Cam on this team with Ron Rivera, and it's probably going to happen real talk because there's already word about it happening. When Cam on this team with Ron Rivera, with a defense, a tight end, which Cam needs, a tight end.
These guys are helping this tight end. Cam Newton and that guy.
I'm telling you, Cam with a tight end. I'm telling you, bro. Cam with a tight end and Scary Terry, he's putting up numbers.
The way Cam Newton was throwing this year, man, he was looking.
I'm telling you, bro.
Real out of the league-ish.
I'm telling you, Cam will be. I'm telling you, he's coming. Ray, you're nodding your head. Why are you nodding your head, Ray? You're nodding your head. Why are you nodding your head? You never liked Cam though, so it is what it is. But go ahead.
And part for what George said, Scott Turner is still your offensive coordinator. There's a lot. There's a lot more needs on this team than quarterback. We've established that.
Yeah.
Again, I would prioritize receiver ahead of quarterback to start because again, I believe that this defense is good. And then address the holes on defense and see what you have going in the training camp. Again, I'm thinking that you don't want to draft the wrong quarterback because that's the history. As Mo just pointed out, listen to all the guys. You know, we can go all the way back to Heath Schuler.
I know,
when
man.
When is the last
time
a good quarterback has been drafted? When's the last time a good quarterback has been drafted? So you want to tread lightly on that. I said really instead of bringing in Cam, I would bring in Jacoby Brissett before Cam.
I'm bringing Cam before I bring Jacoby. Well, Jacoby's okay, but I like Jacoby, so I'm not gonna knock Jacoby.
That was good last year, man. 22.
Are you gonna blame COVID on Cam struggles? Get out of here.
He had a bad game. You know, real talk. That's right.
He went vegan. Vegan, George.
10 passing touchdowns this year.
That's the problem. He ain't had no meat system. You know what I'm saying?
Under 10 passing touchdowns this year. It's been a lot. There's been a lot of quarterbacks with no talent not have 10 passing touchdowns.
Bruh, again, look at that team, man. Y'all acting like, bruh, you need people. Like you cannot act like that. I talked to a friend of mine. We talked about this. I talked to a friend of mine who play ball, and we were talking about this. Like we talking about Cam. We're like. And we agree. We both agree. We're like, yeah, New England set him up. Then we said, secondly, like Brady would still win with that squad. But Brady would win with that because Brady's the GOAT. But Cam was set up in that situation. Like we cannot go off of that and say like Cam was set up in that situation. Look up that squad. Somebody please look up that squad and name me a player that should be starting. Just name me a player you think he should be starting. And they went 7-9, but name me and the defense wasn't even that great. Name me a player on that squad that should be starting. You're adding a dude that is coming off an injury, like y'all both said, coming off injuries and didn't look the sharpest to carry a squad to the postseason, to look effective when you don't have any weapons. It's hard, bro. It's hard.
A lot of QBs play with no talent that throw more than 10.
Who? Name me a player that has had nothing like that. Like, name me a player with not a tight end, not a number one wide receiver, not a running back, not a defense.
Had nothing the past couple of years.
Sam Darnold had Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder is better than anything that Cam Newton had on that field.
Jay Crowder's and Damiere Byrd the same.
Jamison Crowder. No, he's not. Jay Crowder here was 1,000-yard wide receiver. Over there is a 1,000-yard wide receiver.
What about Matt Stafford?
Matt Stafford? I like Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford got Kenny Galladay.
He got Galladay. He got talent. You talking about who has talent? Galladay and what's his name? Jones.
And he got Hawkinson.
Yeah, he got talent.
No. I'm
Oh,
not
it's about the quarterback.
I'm talking about if you want to bring in a veteran, I think you got. I don't think Cam is ass. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. The only reason I'm saying Cam is this is the caveat for Cam is because Alex Smith is still on the contract, so you can't really have a quarterback you can't tie your money. This is the issue with Washington has. You can't tie your money to two different quarterbacks. Now, Stafford would be great. Any other quarterback for real talk. Other than like any other quarterback, you're trying to get like a
the Stafford wouldn't be great. Stafford got $47 million left on his deal.
Yeah, exactly. Stafford, you talking about Stafford?
Can't be there.
Yeah, but it's the only way it works if Alex retires. Then we can talk about the Stafford argument. That's how I look at getting Stafford. Like I would love to get Matthew Stafford. I would love to get like Deshaun Watson. Everybody, like, I would love to get Deshaun, bro. Like that's obviously
that is the money.
But it's the money.
You'd have to mortgage.
Yeah, and you have to mortgage the future for Deshaun too. You got to give up like what you're giving up. RG3 trade was bad. This would be far worse.
Like picks a player and a third rounder at least.
Yeah. So, but like I would love to when folks talk about Matthew Stafford, I'm like, yeah, I want Matthew Stafford. Like he would be my number one option. Like he would be my number one. But I know, like, all right, if it only works if Alex retires. Like it only works. Because there's players in free agency that you still got to bring back. You got to bring back Brandon Sheriff. He's a free. He's old. You got to bring him back. Jonathan Allen is still a dude that I think you still should bring back. There are guys that you still need to pay. There's guys you got to pay. So if you can't pay two quarterbacks,
you know what I'm saying?
So then it goes back to the point of like when people are naming these quarterbacks, I'm like, you gotta look at a dude that's in a bargain. So when I say bargain, the reason why I bring in when I say Cam is that Cam is a bargain. You're not paying that much for Cam. Like you're really not, because he hasn't shown you to, in terms of what to get paid that much. If we're talking about paying Cam, my thing is like, if you're talking about bringing back Kyle Allen, dude, I'll bring Cam before I bring Kyle Allen. You know what I'm saying? I'll take Cam before I take a Kyle Allen. I will in a second. I'll do that. Like that's not hard for me. But you're telling me
Kyle Allen not gonna cost you anything either.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying I would. But he's a free agent. Kyle Allen's a free agent. Cam and him are free agent. So if you're telling me who I'm going to choose between Kyle Allen and Cam, I'm going to choose Cam. Like between those two quarterbacks, I'm going to choose Cam over Kyle Allen.
Yo, you can have Matt Ryan, bro. We'll give him to you because we about to get Justin Fields. So.
But is he a free agent though? Is he being released though?
I'm just joking.
If he's released, I would take him too.
Of course, Matt Ryan's going to the Hall of Fame.
Wait. It depends how much he's asking for. Put it that way.
Matt Ryan, you got to pay Matt.
He wouldn't come in. He ain't that stupid.
The Washington football team can't afford no quarterback.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro.
Well,
they can afford Cam though.
Unless Alex Smith
can afford Cam. Cam signed for $1 million last year. You can't ask for more.
Exactly. I agree. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. You can't ask for more than that. Like, so it goes back to the kind of. So if you bring in Cam, like my thing is, you bring in Cam, you put in the other dudes, you have a competition, and then you draft a quarterback. Because again, it's all predicated on Alex Smith because that contract. Now, if Alex Smith retires, now you're allowed to do. You can be more aggressive at going after quarterbacks. But he has to retire.
But if you draft one,
I agree. But you can still sign another quarterback. You can sign a one on cheap and bring in another.
What round?
I wouldn't see. To me, it's all about. I'm all about in the first round for this team. You draft the best offensive player. And if that quarterback is the best offensive player, then you draft that quarterback. If he's not, say it's not going to happen. But an example, because I know what's the name from Alabama last year. Judy went further back. So a wide receiver from I know Smith is not going to. Smith is too good. Say Waddle for some strange reason slips to like the 19th pick, where Washington I think believes they're going to be at 19.
Mm-hmm.
You take Waddle, like you don't even play with it. You take Waddle because to me, no quarterback, and that's going to drop that. No quarterback's going to be better than Waddle.
His quarterback.
Who you want to say? Who?
Mac Jones would be better than Waddle.
Nah, he won't. I don't think so. Well, I want to say this. I don't think so. I think you're good with in terms of the resume of what those Bama receivers do, and we're talking about I'm taking Waddle over that any day of the week because I know now.
I can't agree with. I mean, I can't disagree with that.
I'm telling you,
Cam Sims from the Alabama tree. I don't show him no love.
Who?
Cam Sims from the Alabama tree. You don't show him.
That's not a real. That's not a starter. That's not a Bama starter. Like no, Bama real star. We know, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't you know Mo? Don't do that, Mo. You know there's a difference between it. You know, Mo. You know there's a difference between the Alabama. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. Let me backtrack. A Bama 1 grade. Sorry, a Bama 1 grade wide receiver. You can't go wrong with that. Like you can't. So you take that and pair it with Scary Terry. That alleviates so much, man. Alleviates so much.
I think Waddle's too small for y'all to draft him at that.
Man, you take him. You don't even check.
The same thing was said about Deshaun Jackson, and they passed on him.
Yeah, dog, you gotta take Waddle, man.
Waddle's not Deshaun Jackson, guys.
He got this. He's a route runner. He's a great route runner.
Waddle's not Deshaun Jackson.
Not the speed. No, I'm talking about route running, man. Great route running.
You would use that reason. I don't think that's a great.
Nah, man, he's a great route runner. You pair him another good route runner in with Scary Terry. Nah, it makes life easy, man. You got to do that, man. You can't have what you saw today. You can't have that type of thing. You got to have 2 reliable dudes, man. Somebody who's going to bring the ball in and who's going to get open. You know what I'm saying? Like at least make life easier for whoever's going to throw them the football. You know what I'm saying? Throw them the football.
Bring in Jalen Waddle and have Alex Smith as your quarterback.
It won't be Alex.
That's like Alex. A Ferrari in the city. You ain't never.
Look, man, you got it. Look, it goes back again. What did you just say, Mo? You just said they get their best quarterbacks at what round?
Yeah, you did it one time in 25.
So I'm not going to get one in the first round. It's a reach that people aren't thinking it's the real deal. I'm gonna give me the guarantee, the more of the guarantee in terms of Waddle, and then I'll look at what I get in the second round. Maybe on. Because I'm getting
not be it, but wide receiver's not it. Wide receiver
is it, man. It's it. They need weapons. Did you not see what happened?
First pick of the draft. You guys get yourself an impact linebacker right there.
Nah, the defense, man. It's time to take care of the offense, man. It's been too atrocious, man.
Defense look good on paper. You see what happened?
Nah, sorry. Not your pick is Tom Brady. Nah. If you put offense, no, like how many times they give up? Again, that offense has a lot of weapons, bro. Like let's be real. No, don't do that because they have the Baltimore Ravens gave up. The Baltimore Ravens defense is lit, and they gave up about 40 to freaking Cleveland. So it can happen to anybody. My point
because y'all don't have a receiver. That's not.
That offense needs help, bro. Like we've seen that. You said this, Mo. You said this last show. You said this offense is atrocious. You can't go back and be like they don't need help. They need help
just because your quarterback is hurt. Your quarterback.
No, they need help. They need hope. They need Jesus. They need hope. No, they need help. They need weapons.
One leg.
Look, they need weapons. Who's a good? You're gonna tell me Cam Sims? What you saw over there? With Cam Sims is a legit number 2 that can win for you.
Cam Sims had 2 drops today. Had over 100 yards.
Mo, you coach football. You told me you coach football, right?
Yes.
You coach football, right? Right. So you throw. If I throw you a bomb, if I throw you one of your high school, you coach high school ball, right? It's high school ball.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I throw your kid a bomb, right? A bomb, and it hits him like in the hand. And this doesn't happen like once. It happens a lot. Like it doesn't just happen once. It happens. You see a dude fight the football. Like this dude literally fights a football. You're gonna say to yourself, like, good try. You good. You okay. You solid. You can get open. You make some plays every once in a while, but we can't rely on you for real. You're a
top playmaker, and you don't have to be.
Look, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that you can make life easy, bro. In today's NFL, and especially when you have
get them the ball. Jalen Waddle in the Washington football team is not the receiver to take. You want to take a receiver, sure, but he's not the one to take because you're not going to use him to the best of his ability.
Look, man, you got to do it. Like you don't know that. Like you don't. They may bring in a Matthew Stafford to Ray's point. They may bring so to Ray's point, if they bring in a Matthew Stafford, right? How is Waddle now? Like, how does Waddle look now?
Waddle looks a lot better.
Exactly. So I'm telling you, we don't know the quarterback situation right now. We don't know what they're going to target. So I'm saying if they do go in a situation and they get a better quarterback, they can get Waddle, right?
They don't have to target anybody. They have.
I feel you, right? Because you're a Giants fan. You're scared that if they get Waddle, they could do some work.
They have a quarterback that's under contract that can come back and play next year. So their main concern is not going to be a quarterback.
Who's going to play next year? Alex?
Alex is going to play next year.
I don't know, man. I got a strange feeling that Alex may retire, man. I have a strange feeling that he may retire.
Alex is not retiring, not like this.
Strange feeling that he may retire.
Alex is playing next year, dude. Alex is going to finish this contract out.
Man, I don't know, man. Everybody, there's some chatter, man. There's some chatter.
I think he's transitioning into a front office role.
Me too.
Role. That's what I've been hearing. But we do not know. All this is based on hypotheticals. Unfortunately, the season is over, guys. You know, and this is it. So I'm glad y'all went all in. I'm glad y'all went all in about what needs y'all going into the offseason as we close out this 7-9 season where this team was still a playoff team. Like I was,
it's crazy. This team was, man, and it was awesome, man. It was awesome to talk to you fellas, man. You know what I mean? Like Mo kept it lit. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta restructure.
You know what I'm saying? My man Ray, you know what I'm saying, has been bullish all year. It's been a good year, man.
I could be Mo. Everybody's Mo, though. That's the problem. If we being real, everybody talks about the bad about his organization. So I wanted to be the light in the darkness, and you know what? It turned out good because I was thinking they were going to make the playoffs from jump shot. That happened. So I had to roll with that. You know what I'm saying? I even wore a burgundy shirt today just to show
Did you really?
more support. Not really, no,
man.
Nothing like that. But for Mo, that's more evidence. Hey, George. This dude Mo accused me of being a Washington football fan. It took me by surprise. That had never happened to me in my life. I was taken aback by the whole thing. So, hey man, listen, good stuff, y'all.
Appreciate
y'all. Quarterback is, but I hope it's not Heineke. I just hope it's not.
Look, watch, it's gonna be Heineke. Watch, Ray. It's gonna be Heineke. Deal with it, bro. All right, man. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Search all Burgundy and Gold, everything. Excuse me. Also tweet us.
Just like me, can't get right.
And hit us up on the Urban Sports Team Facebook page. Hey, man, appreciate you all for listening. Sorry for the mix-up. Hey, Ray and Mo, man, y'all blessing, man. Appreciate y'all. You've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything with the Urban Sports Team on Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces. Hey, Mega, lead us out, big homie.